Hi and welcome to our 20th episode, and I'm in conversation with the Dean and Director of Six Cricket Academy, Mr. Jeshwant. Welcome.
Thank you.
We've been thankful to all the parents and viewers for sending us with lots of questions. In today's episode, the first question is, I see some players working very hard on their technique, while some say technique is overrated. What's your take on this?
Both the sentences are right. So there are examples in cricket where people give an impression that technique is not up to it. But obviously, if you have to succeed in this sport of cricket, your technique needs to be right, if not perfect. Because in batting, the bowlers will expose you, and in bowling, if your technique is not right, it can lead to injuries. So what exactly is technique? It's a big long conversation which I wouldn't like to get into. Technique is what is the position of the batsman when he's at the time of release of the ball, and how is he going to take the next step? How is he going to execute the next step? So that is where it is. So just to conquer that, people spend a lot of time in cricket especially. So if you compare to another sport, say like a football or a badminton or tennis, physical fitness becomes extremely important. It is not that it is not important with cricket. Cricket also has very high level of physical fitness, but even if there is a slight compromise, if you're technically good, if you're psychologically good, if you're tactically good, you can still make it big. So working on technique in cricket, I think at a developmental age, say from the age of 12 to about 16, 17, it becomes extremely important. As your technique gets better, you will obviously perform well at the highest level, because even if you have a slightest chink in your technique, the bowlers will certainly expose you. Or if there is a problem with your technique in the bowling, you will have a problem bowling all kinds of deliveries. So somewhere you'll be restricted. So that is where I think it is right. At the same time, even though it may be overrated, but probably at the elite level, even if the player is psychologically very strong, he can make some adjustments, even though technically he may not be 100%, but he or she will be in a position to recognize their flaw in the technique and know about it, and which will lead to certain areas of the ground I may not access certain balls I may not be able to bowl to my best. So they make their adjustment. But finally, to answer the question, I think it is extremely important, technical part and the psychological part, the tactical part, and the physical part. All are important, but for cricket, especially for batting, I think technique is a major part, and any youngster at developmental age needs to work on it.
Thank you. Due to technical issues, we had to take down the 19th episode, but we have the questions from the 19th episode. When an athlete has a bad day, how should a parent deal with it?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question, because this is a question which is faced by many parents. Because I do know that parents come here with a lot of expectations. Now, expectation does not mean confidence. Expectations can lead to hoping for too much, whether your child is good or not. So when you expect too much, the failures stand out. Because the player may not have the ability to perform all the time. Even the best of the players have not performed in all the matches. So that I think the parents should understand. The second part is, no player wants to fail intentionally. The parents should understand that. So despite that, failures happen, and how do you deal with them is, you got to align with these failures, and you become a part of that failure. If you're going to pinpoint at him saying that I'm spending so much money on you, I'm spending so much time on your game, and you're not giving the expected result, that is a recipe for him to further go down. You're not helping him, you're only harming him. Instead, what you can probably do is give examples. The greatest of cricketers have failed. So there's nothing wrong. You go and play. Look at it the next time, the next match what you're playing, the next ball what you're playing. See what has happened, and for sure the athlete has not done it on intention. So that the parent should understand, and when he fails because of the competitive nature of this game, nobody is with the athlete who was paid, including the teammates, including the coaches, anybody who he is looking up to. Now, if at home, if the same kind of pressure is put on the athlete, then he's got nowhere to go, and that, I will tell you, will lead to him for his confidence to further go down, and I think it's very difficult for him to perform in the next day's game. So the best way is to be with him, help him, and cut down on your expectations. This is not a business. If you're thinking that I'm putting money and effort, my time and all that, that is not the right way to play the sport. And if that is the way of your thinking as a parent, your child or that athlete, you will be putting him or her under tremendous pressure, and that's not a good space to be, mental space to be in for any athlete, and that can lead to mental fatigue, mental depression. Then it can lead to bigger problems where doctors need to interfere or psychiatrists need to interfere. This is not what we expect our child at 2021 to be. We want them to be healthy, happy individuals when they get on to the normal way of life, whether it is success in the sport or any other walk of life. So they need to be happy when they are off the sport. Not not everybody will make it big. Most of them will not be able to make it big in the sport because the competition is so high. So when you get out of the sport, if you are a happy person, that will help you to do well in whatever you pick up. Whether you become a businessman or a professional or work in a corporate, you will be well liked, because this sport teaches so many values which is extremely difficult, or it is very it is not learned. It has to be picked up in maybe in your school or college that may not be taught, but this sport teaches those good things. If as a parent, if you think that these are all the things, these are all the values, these are all the qualities, these are all the soft skills which my son or daughter is picking up from this sport, I think that will be the right kind of a message as a parent you're sending to the child, so that he or she will have the best chance to perform in the coming matches.
I've been interacting with parents, and they view in general the more exposure they have in terms of games, their performance gets better. Do you think it's a child's burnout? What's your take on this?
See, all these things are all fine. There are examples. People who have played a lot of games have reached the top. People who have not played, only practice, they've also reached the top. There is no one way in cricket which any coach or any pattern of coaching has found out as such that if you do this, success is guaranteed.
There's no such formula.
There is no formula which coach has or any coach in this world has found out. If you play so much, you will reach the destination. So it happens. There are so many moving parts. See, that is where the parents are missing out on. They're trying to plan everything. It cannot happen. See, to give a small example, there was one particular player who moved on from a club or academy to another academy and then comes back because he did not get a chance here because the competition was so high here. He will not get into this club. So what happened now? Are you thinking that is this the only club? There are so many people across the country who are playing. So if you're thinking that just because you are not able to get a chance in this academy, you move on to another coach and another club. What happens? What if somebody is working so hard in Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi? So in that case, you'll have to. What is the point in starting the game? The parents are trying to fix so many things which does not work. So that if you see the Indian team now, there are so many players with hardly any kind of great economic background. How is it that they've reached the top and they're excelling for the country? So that should answer, So I request the parents, please don't plan for them. This is not this will not work. This is not financial planning or anything like that. You come, you put your child in a school, and you get your results only after 15 years of studies. You will become a graduate, postgraduate, or a PhD, whatever. But the time is important. Here, if you're trying to plan everything, it will not work, and most of the time you'll end up with a heartburn.
I feel that sometimes it's like an investment. So parents feel that I've invested so much, I need returns immediately. It's not because they're not patient enough. Like, what do you think?
Patience is one thing. If you look at that, why don't you put it in the stock market or in the banks? You are assured. This is not this. This is an art. It is very difficult. If you know, the what do you say? The statistics say that from 1947 to now we have produced 320 test players or a little more. So what does that say? The success is very, very rare in the sport. So what are the takeaways? So like I just spoke, look for that in the process. If he or she makes it big, that's a bonus. If you look at it as a ROI, this is not the place. There are better places to invest.
Thank you.
Thank you
So much, and stay tuned for our latest episode on the 1st of every month.